from NFL greats Phil Simms, Larry Fitzgerald, and Tom Brady.
To hear NFL radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
It didn't feel years ago.
Hi, I'm Conan O'Brien. Hear my in-depth conversation with Nirvana as In Utero turns 30. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, and producer Steve Albini. Hear encores throughout the week on Channel 34. Schedule at SXM Lithium or listen right now with the SiriusXM app. Just search Nirvana.
Just because you leave town doesn't mean you should go without your commercial-free music, play-by-play from your favorite teams, or the programs, entertainment, or news you listen to every morning. Get SiriusXM and get the radio you love coast to coast. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com to activate your radio now.
Discover stories told through thematic sets of classic rock's rare cuts. I'm Jim Ladd, picking songs for you on Deep Tracks from my California studios. To hear Deep Tracks, just activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up now.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at EquityZoneMortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
There you go now. I think I'm recording. Oh, let's see. There you go now. I think I'm recording. Oh, let's see.
With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Just because you leave town doesn't mean you should go without your commercial-free music, play-by-play from your favorite teams, or the programs, entertainment, or news you listen to every morning. Get SiriusXM and get the radio you love coast to coast. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com to activate your radio now.
It didn't feel years ago.
Hi, I'm Conan O'Brien. Hear my in-depth conversation with Nirvana as In Utero turns 30. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, and producer Steve Albini. Hear encores throughout the week on Channel 34. Schedule at SXM Lithium or listen right now with the SiriusXM app. Just search Nirvana.
Races, where horses and things down under. Sessions, baby, some chanting bodies. Sirius XM Screen. What channel is it? Tune into channel 107 or the Sirius XM app.
Round of the Portes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Tony of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. The 29 podcast applications. That's my story, and I'm taking with it. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! See, I'm always trying to bring the neighborhood together, so they can light the beam. But people don't like it when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But you can follow me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 29 podcast applications all across the universe. Follow Big C Sports on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, Good Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Twitter Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Live, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Policy, Podcast Republic, and I'm telling you, there's one that used to study but now doesn't. It's called AllFees.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over. They're trying to take over. All fair level war. I want to tell you what I love doing for every Big C Sports podcast. I love praising our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced, helping veterans and their loved ones get help. Anybody going through issues, they will stand on their head to get our veterans some help. And it can't be the person making the phone call, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And they really do a good job making sure that people have someone to lean on. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. It's all the same on the shine light in the world. Really do appreciate what I'm doing, Big C Sports, on a beautiful Friday, October 27, 2023. I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter. I know I could use more laughter. And then the commercials are done. Unlike most shows that do an hour show, I do my commercials pre-roll. Most shows do 3 or 4 pauses and they'll have a couple of spots. Mine go up the front and I just keep going and going and going and going. And then I'm telling you, the commercials are provided, stats provided. I do the storytelling. I even do my play-by-play. We have the World Series starting tonight. I have runners on first and third. They count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Hooray. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. They're hitting deep tonight in Texas, where the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers, they are competing for the 2023 World Series. May the best team win. Give that some praise. I want to say I upload the show. It goes out to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Denver Hills, California. And they're streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. All fair and love and more. And then I never missed a show since working with this Big C Sports crew back in the days at Salem Media. I got a lot to get through tonight. And so my show's always a little bit different, but I always want to pay homage to Reparations because I want to make sure that on this Friday night, where a lot of NBA basketball players are playing their second game, I want to say reparations now, reparations forever. Right on cue. I want to thank the Associated Press, Janie Harr. She actually did an interview with me on March 29th, 2023. It seems like long ago in a galaxy far, far away, but she called me and I said, she said she was calling from the Associated Press. And I said, how'd you get my number? She said, we have our ways. I said, well, okay, well, what made you call me? She said, I heard you speak. I spoke at a reparations rally in California. And she asked me my thoughts on reparations. I said the same as President Abraham Lincoln when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. I believe in that. Also in the article is President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, also California Governor Gavin Newsom, all friend level. Give them some praise for having a task force. We needed to come through sooner. We've had enough meetings. I'm hearing no reparations, no vote. We want the same thing that our descendants of Holocaust got. Give that some praise. We always want to give them praise. But now it's our turn. I'm telling you, so many great things going on in the world of sports. I want to get through this fast because I got a lot to cover, and I don't know how much time I can get in. But I want to give praise to the California Reparations Task Force. I'm the only sports show in the universe that gives them praise every show. And I want to thank the chair because reparations is going to happen. And these are the people that were mandated to study it, and they have an 1,100-page solutions. I got number one, the chair, Camila Moore. She's an attorney that focuses on reparative or restorative justice. She's a chair. I want to give her praise. She's brilliant. Also, Dr. Amos C. Brown. He's the vice chair. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And then the best senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. He's also responsible for name, image, and likeness for college athletes to get paid under name, image, and likeness. Also, the author of the Ebony Alert that helps when young black children go missing. I love giving him praise. And also, he's tasked with helping fund reparations. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's brilliant. Love to give her praise. Also, Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. And then Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And then also Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. All fair and love and war. I want to thank this is CNN. Proud sponsors of Big C Sports Podcast, The Source, with Caitlin Collins, weeknights 9 o'clock p.m. on CNN. Proud sponsors of Big C Sports. Really do appreciate that. I want to say thank you to PNC Private Bank. Proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I just need $6 billion. And I'm not even joking. I really do need $6 billion. I also want to thank Double O, the payout committee chair for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me Executive Order 13985 on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's called the White House. I love giving that praise. We shall overcome today. I don't want to keep saying someday. I'm saying today. Also want to thank Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott of Florida. They're making sure right now with the Congress as they reintroduced to restore the Holocaust Survivors' Rights Bill to make sure Holocaust descendants are getting paid in their reparations. I love giving that praise. I want to thank Georgetown University, not for Patrick Ewing, not for Allen Iverson, but for passing reparations. They pledged over $1 billion of reparations to the 272 descendants of chattel slavery that built Georgetown. You got to give that some praise. Nobody else talks about that except for Big C Sports. All fair and level work. That was announced in September. I'm telling you, there's another article. I want to thank Double O, the National Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, sent me this information that came from the United Nations. It says that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. You got to give that some praise. They're saying reparations now, reparations forever. I want to thank this is T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, also proud sponsors of Big C Sports, and I love giving that praise. Got so much on my mind, and got to make sure I get through it. Love praising my family legacy from my beautiful mother side. My great-grandmother called her Mamo. Beautiful, loving, kind woman. My great-granddaddy called him Pop, former military man and Negro League baseball player. And my great-grandmother, actually my grandmother, Muddy, a beautiful, loving, kind woman, a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person. He was a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about what's going on in their lives. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Under the Head Start program, a food program, and also coaching all boys, a Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. How many people have started the Head Start program, and then their food program, and then go on to coaching all boys, the Little League baseball team to the championship of anything? I love giving her praise. Always saying rise and shine. the best person I ever met in my life. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then I want to thank on my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, former pastor. He had 3 churches, and he owned 2 gas stations, but he also owned 40 acres of land, like the Emancipation Proclamation, and I love giving him praise when we're supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. My grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy, with the 2 churches in Oakland, the 3rd one they built in Central California, and running the 2 gas stations in Oakland. I was 8 years old in the hallway. I was walking down the hallway, and I felt someone touch me on my forehead. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some cookies?" I said, "What are you doing, Grandma? 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." And then she still said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." And now I'm on 29 podcast platforms. I got to give that praise. She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." Really do appreciate him. And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always saying go forward in life. And then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Always saying go forward. A voracious reader. Really do appreciate Todd. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. And she set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. We went on from there to become the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. Give that some praise. It had never happened before. And Daisy would also help me set up when college coaches come to the West Coast to do work with Big C Sports. I love you with everything I got. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with everything I have, Daisy. And then my very handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, a senior, very smart, erudite, a good man. I'm telling you, you can be anything you want to be, Malcolm. Malcolm actually helped me save trees. It's always get newspapers to look up stats for the Big C Sports podcast for players and also teams. One day, Malcolm said, "Dad, why don't you just Google it?" And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. Now on 29 podcast platforms, give that some praise. One day, Malcolm said, "Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up." That's before it was even on the air. And shortly after that, you can see it streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be, Malcolm. Always trust God, Isaiah 54:17. Everybody has their own thoughts about life, and I want to thank Big C with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. SB nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no premium teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. I do my show with my higher self, and I research it, and then I do the best I can, and that's what I love about doing Big C Sports. And now you know what I'm going to do, because it's Friday night. It's time! I'm telling you, I love high school football. It's where a lot of people find their teammates in life. When you find that you can work with a group of people and get things done, I think that's so exciting. Got some big games tonight for high school football. And down in Texas, they have a big game going on with number 13 DeSoto. They host number 6 Duncan in a battle of 2 undefeated teams. And then Duncanville won his first state title in 1998 and taking home a Class 6A Division I crown. DeSoto also won a 6A Division II championship. Winners of 22 in a row. Duncanville is holding opponents at just about 4 points a game. Even though when they played Model Day of Santa Ana 2 years ago, it was 45-13. Model Day won that game back in Texas. I got to get that jab in for my friends from Texas. At the same time, I want to bring out some more games that are happening around the country. Everybody has their own thoughts about who has the best high school football. Down in Texas also, got 2 undefeated teams at 8-0. North Shore ranked number 7. They're taking on Atascocita of Humboldt, Texas, wishing those nothing but the best. California wraps up the regular season action this week, and some of the top teams: St. John Bosco of Bellflower, ranked number 3 in the country. They take on Orange Lutheran, number 5, Model Day of Santa Ana. They will host Santa Margarita out of Rancho Santa Margarita, California. And then we have number 20, Centennial Corona. They will play Norco, number 22, Sierra Canyon from Chatworth, California. They will take on Chaminade of West Hills, California. I'm going to tell you, in Ohio, big game number 16, Massillon. The Tigers, they host Central Crossing of Grove City and Ohio's Division II bracket. And then you have Isaac Wilson, number 19, at Kroner Canyon in Draper. Utah they had a bye last week, and Utah has good football there, not just the University of Utah, etc. At the same time, we have Layton, and then we have number 24, St. Edwards of Lakewood, Ohio. They look for a three-peat in Ohio's Division I bracket. And then I got to tell you, facing Elyria in the opening round, the Eagles are trying to become the first team since 1995 to win at least 3 consecutive Division I state titles. It was St. Ignatius in Cleveland, Ohio. They won 5 in a row from 1991 to 1995. So that's my story, and I just want to give those good old boys some praise. Number 1, Bishop Gorman, Las Vegas, Nevada. Number 2, Chaminade, Madonna, Hollywood, Florida. And number 3, St. John Bosco, Bellflower, California. Number 4, IMG Academy from Bradenton, Florida. I'm actually going to put Mater Dei number 5. I'm going to switch them number 4 and put IMG Academy number 5 because Mater Dei beat IMG Academy and stopped their 40-game win streak. Yeah, it was 3 years ago, but same systems, etc. So I'm going to put Mater Dei number 4 and IMG Academy number 5. I got number 6, Duncanville, Texas, and Mater Dei also beat. I got number 7, North Shore of Houston, Texas. Number 8, Kahuku of Honolulu, Hawaii. Number 9, Mill Creek of Houston, Georgia. And then I got number 10, St. Thomas Aquinas out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's Big C's Friday Night Lights. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you young kids, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to jump out of the world of a little bit of football and get into the world of baseball because we have the World Series going on tonight. It's down in Texas, and what a story for the Texas Rangers. They were at the abyss of Major League Baseball just a few years ago, and now those good boys, they've climbed that mountaintop. They find themselves in the World Series, and they're taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks, 2 teams that really would not expect it to be here, especially Arizona. It's a 2023 Major League Baseball World Series. I want to give that some praise because they earned it by swinging the bat, if that makes sense to you. You got the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. They square off for the World Series. The Rangers, who were number 5 seed, and the American League number 5 seed. And they will have home field advantage in the playoffs for the first time in the World Series. And Texas will host games 1 and 2 in Arlington and possibly games 6 and 7 if necessary. But the team is just 1 and 3 at Globe Life Field this postseason and 8 and 0 on the road. That has to give the Diamondbacks some hope. Out of Arizona, they were the 6th and final seed in the National League. You have a number 5 and a number 6 seed. That really happens, but give getting in the tournament some praise. And they ousted National League Central champion, the Milwaukee Brewers, in the Wild Card Series and took out the NL West winning LA Dodgers in the NLDS. And then they battled back to eliminate the NL champion Philadelphia Phillies in the NLCS. That's why you got to give them praise. All fair and level war. I'm going for Bruce Bochy down in Texas to win his 4th World Series. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. First pitch already underway. It pitched out at 8:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox and Fubo. Give them some praise. May the best team win. I know baseball is not anywhere near as exciting as football playoffs, but it's still football, and I wish them nothing but the best. And that's my story that I'm taking with it. Now I say, let's get ready to rumble! I want to give you some NFL football. There's so much to cover. Last night, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they found out that Buffalo wasn't always very kind, if that makes sense to you. Everybody has their own thoughts, but the Buffalo Bills, they needed to get a win last night, and they got a close win. It was at home, a hard-fought win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And just when you think it's safe to come out of the closet, it's Happy Halloween. Well, the good old boys in the orange and pewter, they could not get a win last night. It was Buffalo Bills 24 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 18. All's fair and level war. I want to get into some more games that really, in my opinion, are big for NFL football this weekend, especially when you think about the 49ers not having the chance to start Brock Purdy. Well, we'll see what happens. I know they've announced they're going to have a backup starting, but I'll get into that later in the podcast. I want to give you my thoughts. It's week 8 of NFL football. Give that some praise. We're making it to week 8, and you got people winning against the spread and maybe losing the game, but that's just the way the ball bounces. I want to start with my thought. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. They are a 3-point favorite at the Carolina Panthers. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports and Fubo Sports. This game is featuring the first 2 picks in the draft, Bryce Young out of Alabama and then C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State for the Texans. And Young has struggled a little bit while Stroud has played very well for Houston. Both teams are coming off a bye, but the Texans are a better team, and I think they go on the road and they get a 24-17 win over the Panthers. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got. How about those Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys down in Texas. They are a 6.5-point favorite over the LA Rams. Now, the LA Rams just won a Super Bowl a few years ago. In fact, when you think about Super Bowl teams and organizations, you think Dallas Cowboys, but not so fast, my friend. The Rams have been to 2 Super Bowls since the Dallas Cowboys have even been to one over 25 years ago. So that game kicks off Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. East Coast time on Fox Sports and then Fubo TV. The Cowboys are coming off a bye week, so they'll be rested. They just knocked off the Chargers. And while the Rams lost a tight one to the Steelers on Sunday at home, it's a tough game on the road against the rested team for the Dallas Cowboys. And Dallas seems to put things in the right perspective. They're at home. They have a big crowd on hand. And the Rams come in reeling a little bit. So in my opinion, I like the Cowboys. I know they get a lot of criticism. The Rams can score, but it's going to be tough playing against the rest of the team. I got the Dallas Cowboys 28, the LA Rams 20, if that makes sense to you. I got the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers, and the Vikings are actually favored by 1. It's a Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on Fox Sports and Fubo TV. Now, the Vikings have won 2 straight to get things right and impressed in winning the game over the 49ers last Monday night. And Kirk Cousins had a wall of a game. But it's a divisional game on the road on a short week, which is always a challenge. Now, the Green Bay Packers, they have not played well at all in the last couple of weeks, but this is the game to get it turned around. The Packers slow down Kirk Cousins, and they're at Lambeau Field. It's not the frozen tundra yet, but there should be a little bit of magic in the lights, and I think there might be a slight letdown by the Vikings. They want some love, but I don't think Jordan's going to give them any love. I got the Packers with a field goal, and that one winning 27-24, if that makes sense to you. And everybody has their own thoughts about who that say they're going to beat them Saints. Well, a lot of people lately, New Orleans Saints, and they are a 1-point underdog at the Indianapolis Colts. It's a Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on Fox Sports and Fubo TV. Now, the Saints, they're coming off a Thursday loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where the offense struggled, and the Colts scored more than expected against the Browns, but they make too many mistakes, and that might be a difference because the Saints can go marching in. They'll get the best of Gardner Minshew, in my opinion. The Saints, they got to turn their bad luck around. They've had some close losses. I'm going to go with the Saints going up against Gardner Minshew. I got the Saints 24, the Colts 17. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Now, New England, the Patriots, they're a 9.5-point underdog at the Miami Dolphins. It's rare that you see Bill Belichick almost a 10-point underdog in his career. It's a Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff, East Coast time, or Eastern Standard Time on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. Now, the New England Patriots, America's best football franchise over the last 2 decades. The Patriots are coming off an impressive home victory over the Buffalo Bills, where Mac Jones showed some life. And then the Dolphins, they lost on the road to the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday night in a game where the offense scored just 1 touchdown. 1. Now, New England, they slowed Miami in the first meeting. That same strategy will keep them in this game. I think it'll be closer than you think. I think Miami had their bubble burst a little bit when they got beat down by the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not saying that the good old boys from New England are as good as Philadelphia. So I think the Dolphins get the win, but I don't think they cover the spread. Belichick, a 10-point underdog, 9.5 doesn't make any sense. I got the Dolphins winning 28-21 over the good old boys from clam chowder country, if that makes sense to you. The New York City Jets, Jets. They're a 2.5-point favorite at the New York Giants. It's Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. East Coast time on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. It's the battle for New York. All's fair in love and war in them their heels. The Giants played a nice defensive game, beating the Washington Commanders, while the Jets are coming off a bye week, so they'll be well rested. They seem to fix things right before the bye. I'm liking what the Jets were doing, and, they got that win over the Philadelphia Eagles, so they've gotten rested too. Coach Saleh has that team playing well, if that makes sense to him. It should be a low-scoring defensive game with the offense that makes the big mistakes, likely costing that team a game. I say the Giants are just struggling right now. They had a close loss against the Buffalo Bills a few weeks ago, and now they're playing their second New York opponent. I think the Jets, with that rest and their defense so difficult, I think the Jets will make it more difficult on the Giants. I got the New York City Jets at 28. I got the New York City Giants 20, if that makes sense to you. They're getting bucked well in Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they are a 2.5-point favorite at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Have we learned our lesson? The Steelers went into Los Angeles, and they beat the Rams. So they like playing animals, if that makes sense to you. They played another animal, a Jaguar. Can they beat a Ram and a Jaguar back-to-back? We're about to find out. It's a 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they've won 4 straight, and they're going to be rested. They're going to be rested after some playing last Thursday. And then Pittsburgh has played a better offense in the past few games, which it had to do. Both defenses have played very well, but if I go with a better offense, I'm telling you, going against Pittsburgh is almost foolish because they keep winning games that people don't expect them to win. But I got to go with the better offense. I think Jacksonville goes in to a Shore Stadium. Now, if it's Heinz Field, I may have a different thought. I think Jacksonville goes into Pittsburgh, and then Trevor Lawrence, I think, will have a better game than Kenny Pickett. I think the Jaguars take it to the Steelers, but it would be a narrow win. I got, in my opinion, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars 28, the Pittsburgh Steelers 24. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Now I got another game down south. The Atlanta Falcons, also known as the Dirty Birds, they're taking on the Tennessee Titans at Tennessee, and the Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite. What? 2.5-point favorite? 2.5-point favorite at Tennessee. It's a Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports. Now, the Titans, right now, they're having a hitch in their giddy-up, while the Falcons are in first place after beating Tampa. Isn't that amazing? On the road. But Tampa just lost again on the road to Buffalo. So the Titans might be leaning towards giving rookie Will Levis his first start of his career. Might be a tough challenge against that defense because the Falcons are a better team than people thought. And they're going on the road where Tennessee can usually run the ball down your throat, but it hasn't been as much as we thought it would be with touchdown Derrick Henry. I think this is a big defensive battle, but because the Falcons, in my opinion, they're just a better team. I know it's tough to beat Tennessee at home, but if the Falcons bring their own Gatorade, I think they get out with a win. I got the Atlanta Falcons 24, the Tennessee Titans 21. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And now I got a game that used to be one of the major games to watch back in the day, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Commanders. And Philadelphia is a 6.5-point favorite. We just watched them destroy the Miami Dolphins. For anyone who ever thought that a Dolphin could beat an Eagle, well, maybe if he gets it in the water. But these Eagles, they play on land. And the Washington Commanders, they, at some point in time, they got to get things right. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports and Fubo TV. Now, Washington has major issues protecting quarterback Sam Howell. That's never a good thing against the Eagles defense that love to eat. And when they eat, they love to eat a lot. The Eagles offense got on track against Miami Sunday night, which will be a challenge for a Washington defense that has struggled to even block running and block passing. So I think the Commanders, they try to play well in this game because it's a division rival, but the Eagles with touchdown Jalen, please don't hurt them. They can be on a roll. When I saw what they did to Miami last week, I realize maybe they are the best team in the NFL, even though I still like the 49ers, and they're going to have to figure that out. If the Eagles get home field advantage, and right now it's looking like they're rolling along pretty good right now, but we're still at the halfway mark of the season, I like the Eagles winning this game over the Commanders. I think it might be a little bit tight in the first half. I think the Eagles pull away 31-21 over the Commanders. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Cleveland, this is for you. Cleveland's, I'm telling you, they're going out to Seattle, where sometimes they can be sleepless in Seattle. But Seattle is a 3-point favorite. It's a Sunday 4 or 5 p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on Fox Sports and Fubo TV. When you think about Pete Carroll, that good boy in his 70s, he's still doing his thing as if he was at USC. And the Browns right now are playing on the road for a second straight week. But after a not-so-good showing on defense last week, I think the changes are here. Even if it's P.J. Walker at quarterback, I think the defense finds a way to try to stay close with Seattle up in the great Pacific Northwest. At the same time, if you get those good boys from Seattle to play with that crowd at Lumen Field, it'll make it difficult on the Browns to go in there and call audibles. If DK Metcalf can get his chest in the win, and it just seems like Seattle plays better football at home than they do on the road, and a lot of teams do. I got to go with Seattle Seahawks knocking off the Cleveland Browns. So Cleveland, this is not for you. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got Seattle 28, Cleveland Browns 23, if that makes sense to you. And now I got a game. They say it's a bird. No, it's a plane. No, I'm Superman. Superman Lamar Jackson. You know, it's a barbecue theme for this game. The Baltimore Ravens, they're an 8.5-point favorite at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, when people say which came first, the chicken or the egg, we don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. But what came first, the chicken or the Raven or the Cardinal? I said the Ravens came first before the Cardinals. It's a Sunday 4:25 p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on CBS and Paramount. And the Ravens are playing as well as anybody in the league right now. Superman Lamar Jackson and the passing game, they finally have hit rolling stride. They're rolling down the road. And the defense leads the NFL in points allowed. That's a tough challenge for an undermanned Arizona team that has been ordinary the past few weeks. I think the Ravens go into Arizona and they win, and not only do they win, they may even eat some Cardinals for lunch. I got the Baltimore Ravens 31 and the Arizona Cardinals 17. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Everybody has their own opinion about teams that travel, and the West Coast teams, obviously, it's better on them when teams from the East Coast have to make a long plane flight. But Superman Lamar Jackson, he's the real deal, and I like Baltimore getting that win. I got the Sandy. Whoa, let me give him some respect. I got the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. They're an 8-point favorite over the Denver Broncos. Over the Denver Broncos, give that some praise. 8-point favorite over the Denver Broncos. It's a Sunday, 4:25 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. Now, these two teams met a few weeks ago in Kansas City, and Kansas City won that game, but it wasn't easy. The Denver defense played well. That unit's also made strides. Even so, the Kansas City Chiefs, their offense got it cranked up last week, and they're still a good team, but sometimes they make it more difficult than they should. I think the Chiefs take it, and they take the touchdown Patrick to no place like Mahomes and put the ball in his hands, and he can make things happen if that makes sense to you. And then you have the Denver Broncos with Russell Houdini Wilson. They're just not playing as well as people thought they would when Russell Wilson came from Seattle to go to Denver. Now they're sleepers in Denver, if that makes sense to you. I got Kansas City 35. I got the Broncos 21. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And now there's gold in Dimdale Hills. Got the Cincinnati Bengals. They are a 5.5-point underdog at the San Francisco 49ers. It's a Sunday 4:25 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. Now San Francisco, they've lost 2 straight games on the road, and the defense has struggled against Kirk Cousins. And now they get a good Cincinnati offense that's coming off a bye week, which is good for touchdown Joe Burrow in that calf strain that he has. I think Burrow and the Bengals offense will be able to keep it somewhat close, but I feel that the 49ers will come home and they'll get some of that good cooking that you find in Dimner Hills, California. At the same time, Brock Purdy has been under concussion protocol, so I don't know if they released him to play. I don't think he's going to play. And to me, it looks like Sam Darnold's going to get the starts for the 49ers. But this is not about the 49ers offense. They've scored less than 20 points in their last 2 games. Well, what do you mean it's not about their offense, Curry? It's about their defense. You can't let teams run up and down the field on that defense. They've made Bosa a very highly paid player. And then at the side, Walker, these guys, Fred Warner, they are so good sideline to sideline. They got to find a way to turn the ball over, get a couple of stops, the way the offense has been giving up the ball. There's still no Deebo Samuel. I believe Christian McCaffrey is going to play. But the 49ers with that crowd, the bang-bang Niner gang, I think they'll carry them. And they got to have that force that they played with when they started off the season 5-0. I think the 49ers take this game. It's not like the Super Bowl back in the day, but I got the 49ers winning this game. I think they'll crack the 30-point mark again with Sam Darnold. I got San Francisco 31. I got the Bengals 21, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And now I got a game you don't want to miss if you're in Inglewood. I got the Chicago Bears, and the Bears are who we thought they were. You want to crown them? Crown them! Well, we don't want to crown them yet, the late, great Dennis Green. But the Chicago Bears at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 8.5-point favorite. It's Sunday, 8:20 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on NBC Sports and Fubo. It's hard when you have nearly a double-digit favorite in the NFL. It's almost like it's a gambler special. The Bears looked much improved last week against the Raiders. And then Tyson Bagent played a solid game. But this is a trip. It's a tough trip in the Dome against a good team that needs this win in the biggest way. The LA Chargers, they have too much talent to keep losing games. And I think as long as they stop the turnover bug, I think they'll find a way to beat the boys from the Windy City. May lightning strike. I think Herbert gets back on his groove, and I don't think he throws a pick in this game. I got the Chargers winning this 31-21, if that makes sense to you. I want to give it all some praise. You know, sometimes they say you gotta have the ball bounce your way sometime. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut when he's walking around leaving the club sometimes. If he keeps looking. I got the Las Vegas Raiders. They're at the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are favored by 8 points. Both teams play in the Dome. It's a Monday 8:15 p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on ABC and ESPN as well as Fubo TV. The Raiders, they say the autumn win was a Raider. Now the Raiders are playing consecutive road games after looking pretty bad and losing to the Bears last week. It's as if they didn't even show up. It was really disheartening. And then the Lions were blown out on the road last week by the Ravens. And now I think Detroit, because they get back to the home Motor City, they can get some of that home cooking that they've been known for in Detroit. You know, some collard greens, some deep fried catfish, and also, you know, you got to have a libation that sometimes you make on your home stove, if that makes sense to you. I think Detroit bounces back. It's the battle of the silver helmets. The Raiders, for whatever reason, they just seem to not have a desire to win. When they played in Oakland, at least I saw them put up a big effort. But they beat at home their last home game, New England, hard-fought battle, and then they went on the road and laid an egg at Chicago. Now they got to go on the road again to take on a better team than the Bears in that same division. I would love to pick the Raiders because they're West Coast, at least Southwest Coast. I got the Lions winning 31, the Raiders 14, because they just don't play with a lot of effort, and that, I don't know why I'm upset about it. I'm not betting on the game, but that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I wish them nothing but the best. As I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Now, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it, but I got another story to tell you. I love college football. College football is amazing to me. It's not as exciting as NFL football, and we know that. There's nothing like the NFL. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. We got week 9 in college football. Got some big games. And the soon-to-be erstwhile Pac-12 conference. You got Utah at home versus Oregon. And I'll get to that match in just a little bit. But there are two ranked games matching ranked opponents, the Pac-12. They feature the number 13 Utah Utes, and they host the number 9 Oregon Ducks. And then in the ACC, a couple of teams in need of a bounce-back win is number 21 Duke, and they visit number 18 Louisville. Well, everybody has their own opinion about who's going to win these games. I got to tell you, at the top of the ranking, number 1 Georgia, they take on arch rival Florida in their annual showdown in Jacksonville. They'll be getting buck wild in Jacksonville. Number 3 Ohio State. They must avoid that Penn State hangover as the Buckeyes visit Big Ten West leader Wisconsin, and it's always tough to win at Cap Randall Stadium. At the bottom, number 25, James Madison, it makes the field for the first time as a ranked team in hosting a key clash in the Commonwealth with Old Dominion. And I'm not telling you what you don't already know. If you go back to the game in Utah's nearly impossible to beat at home. I don't think they've lost a home game in 4 seasons in the Pac-12, and this is their last year to play in the Pac-12, and they're going to be moving on to the Big 12. So they're going to keep the number 12. And I say that because they have the 12th man. I'm trying to run in there. I think the 12th man helps when they're at home. Oregon is probably the better team, in my opinion. But when you're going into Utah, where every now and then they get a little bit of the home cooking. They just do. They get the home cooking, but I don't think the home cooking is going to help them on this one. I think Lanning's built a strong program up at Oregon. I think they've learned their lesson. When you have a chance to kick a field goal and get 3 points, take it. They didn't do that at Washington. I know Utah's tough to beat, but I just think Oregon's offensive line is too powerful, and they can move the ball on Utah. Utah might have a hangover from their win, their last-second field goal win at USC. So they're just college kids. I think they're still going to be holding on to that. I got Oregon ranked number 9 in the country going in to Utah in Salt Lake City and knocking off number 13 Utah. And that's a 12:30 p.m. kickoff. So I like Oregon to win that game. As far as number 10 Penn State, I have them knocking off Indiana in a game that should be a big game in the Big Ten. Down in the state of Texas, a lot of things happen in Texas. Cowboys in town, a lot of good high school football, top 20 matchups, and then you have the World Series. But I got the Texas taking on BYU, which will be a part of the Big 12 next year as Texas move on to the SEC. Texas ranked number 7 in the country. It's a 12:30 p.m. kickoff from Texas in Austin. I got Austin, Texas. The Horns beating the BYU Cougars, if that makes sense to you. Kansas taking on number 6 Oklahoma in Kansas, a 9 a.m. kickoff. I've got to go with the Oklahoma Sooners taking out the Kansas Jayhawks. On the West Coast, number 5, the Washington Huskies. They're on the farm down at Stanford taking on the Stanford Cardinals. This will not be an upset, if that makes sense to you. I'm going with the Washington Huskies winning that. Number 4, Florida State. The Seminoles taking on Wake Forest. I got to go with Florida State winning that game. Wisconsin, Ohio State. Ohio State gets that game, number 3 in the country. And Wisconsin's tough at Camp Randall Stadium, but I got Ohio State winning. And also, number 1, Georgia. They're taking on Florida in Jacksonville. I got to go with number 1 Georgia winning that game, if that makes sense to you. I got Oregon State ranked number 12 in the country. They're at Arizona, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Arizona's been playing a lot better football, but Oregon State wins this game. Pittsburgh at number 14, Notre Dame at 12:30 p.m. kickoff on NBC Sports. I like the Fighting Irish to play like champions and win that game. North Carolina ranked number 17 at Georgia Tech. It's a 5 p.m. kickoff. I got North Carolina winning that game. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And then the final game of college football, I got 2 more involving teams that will be in the Big Ten next year. I got number 22 USC. They're at Cal Berkeley at Strawberry Canyon, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff. Oh my goodness, USC has to win this game. I don't think they lose 3 in a row, but they got to play well because Strawberry Canyon will be packed with strawberries, if that makes sense to you. But USC is going to win that game. And then I got Deion Sanders in Colorado. They're at UCLA, fight, number 4 UCLA with Chip Kelly. It's a 4:30 p.m. kickoff on the West Coast. And I got to tell you, maybe some of the buzz with Colorado football has gone down a little bit. Maybe they'll pick it up a little bit. But at the same time, I like what we're seeing. I really do like what we're seeing with college football. I just want to see more reparations. Reparations now! Reparations forever! Yeah, you're free to talk about reparations, all the stuff going on in this country. That's my story. and I'm sticking with it. I wanna bring it to there's a big fight going on, but it's not in the United States. We did it before with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. We did it with Conor McGregor and Floyd Money Mayweather. Now we're taking Tyson Fury, a heavyweight champion, versus Francis Ngannou, a former UFC champion. And it's amazing. For the first time since Floyd Money Mayweather, he fought former UFC champion Conor McGregor. Fight fans will witness one of the best boxers in the world against one of the best fighters in MMA. You got Tyson Fury, known as the Gypsy King, and WBC heavyweight champion faces former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. It's in Saudi Arabia on October 28th. It's a 10-round bout, and I don't know if it goes that far. Now, as a boxer, Tyson Fury may be a better boxer, but Francis Ngannou is a better fighter overall with MMA skills, making his pro debut in 2008. When you think about what happened, Fury, a former English, British, European, and Commonwealth heavyweight champion known as the Gypsy King, he made himself known when he beat Vladimir Klitschko in 2015 for the WBA, IBF, and WBO, and ring heavyweight titles. Despite posting a defining triumph, Fury, he succumbed to mental issues. We talk about mental health, and he battled drug and alcohol abuse. So I'm glad he got his life right. He lost 140 pounds. And then he returned to action and he beat Deontay Wilder in February 2020 for the WBC title. And then Fury retired in 2022, and he decided to get back into the thick of things. I got my own thoughts about this fight, because Ngannou, in my opinion, is in much better shape. They're similar in size, and if you like fighting, I think Ngannou can take a punch. Deontay Wilder knocked down Fury twice, and I think there was some shenanigans with that fight, and Fury won both. But Wilder, is hard to see him losing to anybody, because he's a great fighter. MMA, he fights, he's good upper body and lower body. But these are fight rules. They're not letting you bring the MMA style. It's almost like Conor McGregor and Floyd Money Mayweather. Well, Fury's a better fighter than McGregor was. So the UFC skills is not as much of a contrast with Deontay. Deontay Wilder was like a one-punch guy. He had a strong right hand, and that was it. But Francis Ngannou's good left and right combination. And he's not taking this fight just for the money. Of course, money's involved. But he really thinks he can win. And so do I. Now, I know, obviously, I saw Fury on the ground twice to Deontay Wilder, who's not as skilled as Francis Ngannou. Oh, what are you talking about, Curry? Well, if you watch both fighters, in my opinion, Ngannou's a better athlete. Now, Fury may be a better puncher because all he does is use his upper body. But Ngannou, if he can do, in my opinion, what Deontay Wilder did, and throw that heavy right hand, but he also has a good left-right combination. If a man that only has one signature punch could put Fury on the mat twice, and I think they gave him a standing 12 count in that last fight. If you fight a fighter who hits just as hard as Tyson Fury and hits just as hard as Deontay Wilder and Francis Ngannou, but he's left and right combination, how do you go against that? I know the betting world, they may say, well, it's boxing style, so they may just want to go with Tyson Fury because of the style of fights. But in my opinion, I got to go with the best athlete, the one who has a left and right combination, and if Francis Ngannou, he's good on his feet. Deontay Wilder was not as good as an athlete as Francis Ngannou. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. Now, I may be wrong because it depends on who lands enough combinations. But again, I saw Deontay Wilder put Tyson Fury on the canvas twice. He only had a right hand punch. Francis Ngannou's good left-right combination. And he's a better fighter than Wilder was. I think Fury's gotten older. and he's going to meet a man that has a lot of leg strength that can get in the right position to put Fury on the ground again. I'm going with Francis Ngannou. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And people can say what they want to say about it. An MMA guy beating a boxer in a boxer's fight? Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. You got to get that to praise. Plus, he's just a better athlete in my opinion. I want to close out today's show. I love NBA basketball. NBA action is fantastic, and a lot of good old boys love the game of NBA basketball. I want to focus on Northern California. I got Light the Beam, Reparations. Light the Beam, Reparations. Light the Beam, Reparations. The Sacramento Reparations Kings. Because the state capitol is what they had the last California Reparations Task Force meeting. That's Northern California. You hear nothing about it in the NBA. Think about that. Light the beam. Light the beam. They had the last Reparations Task Force rally in California. The state capitol, about a mile away from the arena. Secretary of State building. Well, there's another thing in town that's really big. It's the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. They call themselves the Dubs. People won't forget what happened last year. Steph Curry dropped 50 and knocked out the Kings in Game 7. The Warriors will play their first road game of the season in Sacramento against the Kings. Tonight, 7 p.m. tip-off on ESPN and NBC Sports Bay Area. The Warriors and the Kings, they've recently had some very competitive head-to-head matchups, highlighted by the 7-game battle in the first round of the 2023 playoffs. Playoffs! Yeah, the playoffs. And the Dubs won that series 4-3. It was Steph Curry dropping 3! He dropped 50 points in Game 7. And he gave him the night-night sign. And these teams also played 2 head-to-head preseason games, with the Warriors winning both times. In their second game, Curry helped the Dubs complete a 13-point fourth-quarter comeback. He scored 16 points in that time frame, and he hit the game-winning 3! But there's no Draymond Green tonight. He's not going to be there. He'll be there watching, but he won't be there playing. And I think the last time, if you look at a game that had this much excitement for the season opener, you got to go back maybe 20 years ago for the Kings. You have Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, and I think in tonight's game, Mike Brown against Steve Kerr, they want to get in each other's bragging rights, if that makes sense to you, when they have an elevation. Chris Paul with the Warriors right now, no Poole. I don't think Chris Paul helps with a team like the Kings can run up and down the court. I know the Warriors got them twice in preseason, but there's so much energy in tonight's game, it's hard to see the Kings losing their home opener. That's just my opinion. They average 130 points a game. The Warriors are averaging 104. You got to think about that. The Kings can go up and down the court. Golden State Warriors, they got Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. But you look at the Kings, De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, and Domas Sabonis. I like the Kings at home. The crowd's going to be nuts. And I think they're going to light the beam. Reparations. Light the beam. Reparations. That's my story. And I'm sticking with it. Well, as you always know, my opinion, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber. You could call Lyft. But don't get behind the wheel of a car after you've been drinking. Because the life you save may be your own or somebody you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. As I always tell you, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He says, oh, you got to use. How can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. Because listening to Big C Sports makes me want to say reparations now, reparations forever. And I feel like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. Well, as you know, my beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that crap. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, you know the time it is. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Well, hold on, not so fast, my friend. This is where we honor President Abraham Lincoln. Come on, NBA, I know you can do it. What did President Abraham Lincoln say? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. Come on, NBA, say it loud like you really want representation for the descendants of child slavery known as reparations. What did Abraham Lincoln say at the NBA games? He said, come on, NBA, reparations now, reparations forever. Let's do it one more time. And say it like you mean it for the descendants of child slavery. What would Abraham Lincoln say if he went to the game tonight? He said, light the beam, light the beam. No, that's not what he say. He said, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.